Be me. 17. Quiet junior at a typical suburban high school. Mostly invisible. Easy target. Small frame, glasses glued to my nose, straight A's. Sit alone at lunch. Earbuds shield me from the noise. Seniors call me an easy mark, free homework provider. Avoid the locker room to dodge gym class torture. Life sucks, but manageable with books and quiet music. The year starts with the same pattern, minimal eye contact. One notable change. A new student transferred. 6 feet tall, short messy hair, strong shoulders. Her name is Lena. Rumors say she is a troublemaker, expelled from her old school. Always wears a dark hoodie, sits in the back row, scowls. Teachers are wary, students whisper. Everyone avoids her desk radius. In gym class, she's an effortless athlete, stronger than half the football team. Students nickname her the Beast behind her back. One afternoon at the lockers, jocks block my way. Hand over the homework, nerd. Laughter rings. I resist slightly. They shove me hard into the lockers. Metal clang echoes. Books scatter. Heart races. Shame. Heat rising. A voice cuts sharp through the hallway. Pick it up now. Lena looms behind the group, hands casual in her hoodie pockets. The jocks size her up, hesitate but mock bravery. Mind your business, freak. Big mistake. Her hand snaps forward, grip like a steel vise on the leader's wrist. She whispers calmly. Dangerous tone. Next snap will not be gentle. The jocks retreat hastily, leave my scattered homework behind. I turn to thank her. She waves it off, picks up my books silently, hands them to me, mutters softly, "Stand up for yourself." The next day at lunch, Lena is sitting alone outside, headphones on. I decide bravery is needed. Take a deep breath, approach, murmur awkwardly. "Thanks again." She shrugs. Minimal response. I sit nearby, open my sandwich, silence thick but oddly comforting. Third lunch day. I quietly ask why she stepped in. She sigh. Blunt honesty. Hate cowards. Hate bullies. More lunches pass. We eat quietly. Mutual isolation slowly warming. After school, library, my favorite escape place. Lena starts appearing at a distant table, textbooks barely cracked. One rainy afternoon, math homework, impossible, stuck. Notice a shadow. Lena is standing silently nearby. Need help? Her voice is softer than usual, eyes genuine. I nod shyly, surprised. She sits calmly, walks through the problems easily, quick, sharp explanations, smarter than anyone assumed. I thank her carefully. A small, rare smile cracks her face. A week passes. Lena becomes a regular library companion. Few words exchanged. Math test returned. Perfect score. First ever. Lena notices my quiet grin. Told you, smart kid. A new rumor spreads. Lena is tutoring the quiet nerd. Shockwaves ripple. Bullies are cautious. Fewer taunts. I walk lighter. One afternoon, I find a note shoved through my locker vent. Meet outside after school, loser. Bring your wallet. Heart pounds. Fear claws my throat. Jock's revenge inevitable. Hands tremble quietly. I stuff my belongings. Dread pooling. The bell rings. Hallway empty. Slowly drag my feet outside. 4 jocks waiting. Grins predatory. Eyes cold. I am shoved roughly. My back hits the brick wall. Pain jolts my spine. Wallet yanked from my pocket. Humiliating laughter echoes. I hear running footsteps. Lena appears fast, furious. Tackles the lead jock like a linebacker. Clean, hard hit. The others scatter, terrified. She rises. Fierce, protective stance. Helps me stand, returns my wallet. Eyes smoldering. Told you, stand up, mean it next time. I whisper. Thanks. Shaky breaths, vision blurred. She gently grabs my shoulders, steadying me, voice calm. Gives me her phone number gruffly. Text me of trouble. Weekend bravery. I text a cautious thanks. Her response, brief but friendly. No sweat. Next week at lunch, she waves me over. Inviting seat. Bullies vanish completely. Lena's presence, an unbreakable shield. Slowly, I learn about Lena. Difficult family past, constant moves, foster system, old schools judged appearances. Bond quietly built on mutual protection. Respect grows. I ask about the nickname, the Beast. Her laugh short and bitter. Monsters aren't made in shadows, but whispers. I invite Lena over Friday. Movies, pizza, awkwardness thick. Parents initially wary. Relax quickly. Genuine warmth shines. Movie forgotten. Talk late. Pizza cold. Secrets revealed. Next day, rumors shift. The Beast and the Nerd dating. She rolls her eyes amused. I am bright red. Embarrassment peaks. The school dance approaches. Tradition. Feared event. Lena, unusually quiet. Eventually, she awkwardly asks my plans. None, obviously. Her frown, fierce and determined. Well, now you have some. You are going with me. Heart stops. Moments resume quickly, pulse hammering. Yes, I blurt. Pre-dance nerves fierce. Parents excessive with photos. Proud tears. Lena arrives, borrowed suit, sharp, handsome, confident grin, quiet praise given, red-faced gratefulness returned at the dance, awkward steps, laughter, self-consciousness fades slowly. Jocks glare, envy replaced by realization, mutual respect evident. Quiet night walk home, stars bright, future uncertain, exciting. Soft voice confess gratefulness, eyes meet, silence, comfortable. Next few weeks pass, little change in routine. Study together most afternoons. Sometimes she brings snacks. I bring flashcards. Test scores go up. Anxiety goes down. Teachers notice. One pulls me aside, asks if I join the tutoring club. I just shrug, smile. Kind of. After midterms, she punches my arm lightly. Told you we would level up. School trip announced. Springfield Museum visit. Lena signs up last minute. I almost don't. She glares, says, not optional. Bus ride long. She shares her earbuds. Metal plays in one ear. I play lo-fi in the other. We argue quietly over superiority. Museum. Quiet. Awkward. Tour guide. Monotone. We drift away from the group. Wander the dinosaur exhibit. She taps the glass beside a giant fossil. Used to think I would be a paleontologist. I laugh. She shrugs. Not kidding. Bones don't lie. People do. I remember that line way too long. At lunch, she opens up more. Lived with her aunt for a while. Aunt taught her boxing, how to throw a punch and stay quiet. Not everything needs shouting. Field trip ends. Ride back. Comfortable silence. I nap. She scrolls silently. Someone takes a photo of us asleep, leaning toward each other. Circulates Monday morning. Captioned, Beauty and the Beast, Modern Edition. She glares at it a full minute and saves it to her gallery. Later, hands me a printed copy, quietly says, Figured you might want one. I tape it inside my locker when no one is watching. Spring fair rolls around. Booths, games, popcorn noise. She wins me a stuffed turtle at ring toss. I win her a neon bracelet at the high striker. We wear them all day. She keeps it on all week. I start noticing how she talks less when others are near. Not from fear, just habit. Too many words can be used against you. I listen more. We sit on the roof of the gym after school, watch the sunset, eat leftover cafeteria muffins. I ask what she wants in 5 years. Peace, then pizza, but mostly peace. I nod. Say same. Finals week hits hard, stress sky high. She shows up with energy drinks and sharpened pencils. No mercy for calculus. It is us or the parabola. She helps me pass every subject. I help her prep for the English essay. We both survive, barely. After the last test, we sit outside, silent, just breathing. No words needed. That summer, she has gone visiting a cousin upstate. First time not seeing her in days. Feels weird. We text, but not much. When she comes back, first thing she does is punch my arm. Miss me? I nod. She smirks. Good. Hands me a souvenir keychain. Tiny boxing glove. I hang it on my backpack every day since. Next semester starts. Hotter than usual. School AC barely working. Sweat everywhere. Lena brings spare deodorant, offers it silently. Bond of survival. PE includes outdoor runs, heatstroke simulator. Lena keeps pace beside me, does not talk, matches stride. We do not race, we just exist parallel. Lunchtime, back to our bench. A new freshman sits nearby. Group of jocks heckle her. Before I react, Lena is already standing. Walk away. Voice flat, but final. They do. Freshman thanks us, asks if we are dating. We both choke. Lena says, we are not. A rumor. Awkward silence, but the phrase lingers. A week later, hallway fire drill. Crowds, field, chaos. I lose Lena. Brief panic. She reappears behind me, drink in hand. Figured you forgot water. I did. Thank her. Do not die in drills. Not worth it. Music class project. Paired randomly. Lena and I together again. She cannot sing. I cannot either. We do a percussion cover of a video game theme. Somehow get a B+. Teacher says creative if unsettling. Lena fist bumps me. Fall assembly. Pep rally nightmare. Cheering too loud. Crowds too tight. I start shutting down. Lena notices. Pulls me to the janitor hallway. Sits with me on a dusty bench. Pulls her hood low. Offers gum. 5 minutes. Then we vanish. Best 5 minutes of the day. After school, she teaches me boxing. Just jabs, in case she is not around. I never punch right. Not bad, she says. Rainy day, flooded parking lot. Everyone runs. Lena walks. I walk with her, shoes soaked, but we are laughing. Someone takes another picture, captioned, Weirdos of the Week. We both save it. Another week, new science partner assignment. Not with Lena. Paired with a loud guy, copies my answers. Lena notices. Corner of her mouth lifts slightly. She tells him later, next time you copy, wrong on purpose. He avoids me after that. School paper writes student profiles. Someone interviews Lena, asks what she wants to be. Someone nobody messes with, who can also make perfect pancakes. They print that. I cut it out, pin it next to our photo in my locker. During library period, she doodles in my notebook. Tiny dinosaurs lifting weights. I start drawing too. We promise to make shirts. Parent-teacher conference night. My mom meets Lena in the hallway, thanks her for helping me be less ghostly. Lena nods politely. Later tells me, your mom is cool. Mid-semester burnout hits. Everyone's stressed. Teacher's grumpy. Lena hands me a dumb drawing of a tired cat with a textbook on its head, captioned, Meow Thematics. I nearly choke laughing in class. Detention. She takes the blame. Says, I did not laugh. Teacher does not believe her. We both stay after. Play hangman on the old chalkboard quietly. Almost fun. Second school dance happens. This time I ask her, You serious? I nod. Guess I will need another suit. We go. Less awkward than the first. More dancing. Still no slow songs. Slow dancing is cringe. Agreed. We sit outside most of it. Eat free cookies. Talk about how everyone is trying too hard. We are trying too hard too, but at least we are aware. Next day, she gives me one of the cookies she pocketed, slightly crushed. I eat it anyway. Winter creeps in slowly. Morning's darker, breath visible. Lena starts wearing fingerless gloves with holes near the thumbs. I buy her a cheap pair of proper winter gloves from the pharmacy downtown. Leave them in her locker, anonymously. Next day at lunch, she tosses them directly at my chest. You suck at being sneaky. But she wears them anyway. Snow hits early December. School parking lot turns into an ice rink. I slip walking toward the entrance. Lena catches me by the backpack strap before I fully wipe out. Graceful. Shut up. She laughs loud enough for nearby students to stare. I realize then I would do almost anything to hear that sound more often. Final week before break. Secret Santa disaster in homeroom. I get assigned Lena. Everyone else buys candy or mugs. I panic for 3 days straight. Eventually, I give her a small sketchbook. Black cover, thick paper. She stares at it quietly for a long moment. Then says softly, You noticed. Inside, later, she draws us as badly designed superheroes fighting a giant algebra equation. I keep the drawing folded inside my binder. Before winter break starts, we stay late in the library pretending to study. Snow falls heavy outside the windows. Lena suddenly asks, without looking up, You ever think people can get too used to being alone? Question hits harder than expected. Yeah, I admit, all the time. She nods slowly. Silence settles again, but different somehow. Last day before break, she walks me home because snowstorm warnings start flashing everywhere. Halfway there, power goes out across half the neighborhood. Streetlights dead, snow everywhere, cold sharp enough to sting lungs. I shiver. Lena silently takes off one glove, grabs my hand, keeps walking. No comment, no teasing. Just warm fingers in freezing weather. I do not sleep that night. Break itself feels strange. Too much empty time. We text more now. Random things, pictures of terrible cereal combinations, complaints about relatives, memes involving raccoons. Christmas Eve, my phone buzzes near midnight. Lena sends one message. Thanks for making this year suck less. I stare at the screen for 10 straight minutes before replying. Same. When school resumes, January feels brutal. Everyone exhausted, hallways gray, teachers aggressive about deadlines. But Lena waits by my locker every morning now. Routine settles naturally. One afternoon, heavy snow traps half the school after buses get delayed. Students spread across classrooms, killing time. Lena and I end up in the art room almost alone. She finds clay, starts sculpting the ugliest turtle imaginable. I laugh so hard my stomach hurts. She points at me dramatically. Do not disrespect him. He has seen war. I make a tiny boxing glove to match. The art teacher returns, sees our creations, sighs deeply, calls it abstract emotional storytelling. We get extra credit somehow. Later that month, someone starts another rumor online. Anonymous post. Claims Lena got expelled for attacking a teacher. Hallways buzz again. Old whispers returning. I see her shutting down slowly. Hood up more often, jaw tight. At lunch, some idiot asks if the rumor is true. Lena stands abruptly. Cafeteria goes silent. Then she says calmly, "No, I punched a parking meter," and sits back down. The entire table loses it laughing. Rumor dies by Friday. Valentine's season arrives like a horror movie. Pink decorations everywhere. Couples everywhere. Misery. Student council sells carnations during lunch. I avoid eye contact with everyone. Near final period, someone drops a flower onto my desk. One black carnation. No name attached. Heart nearly exits my body. I glance backward. Lena is pretending to read her textbook upside down. After class, I catch up with her outside. You know, black flowers usually mean death, right? She shrugs. Romance is expensive. I keep the flower pressed inside a notebook anyway. February drags. Ice, stress, endless homework. One night during study session at my house, power flickers out again. Parents asleep upstairs. House dark except for phone flashlights. Lena leans back on the floor beside my bed. Quiet for a while. Then suddenly asks, "You ever think maybe we accidentally became important to each other?" Brain completely stops functioning. "Probably," I mumble. She hums softly, like that answer is enough. March arrives with cold rain and senior prank disasters. Someone releases chickens into the hallway. Lena names one Gregory before security catches it. During lunch one day, she notices me staring into space. "You good?" I hesitate. Tell her sometimes I still expect people to start laughing at me whenever I walk into a room. Her expression changes instantly. Softer. Sad, almost. She nudges my shoulder lightly. "They are laughing less because you finally started taking up space." That sentence stays lodged inside my chest for weeks. Spring starts thawing everything gradually. Track season begins. Lena gets recruited instantly because apparently she can sprint like an action movie protagonist. I attend one meet mostly because she threatens me with bodily harm if I do not. She wins 2 events easily. Afterward, sweaty and grinning, she throws an arm around my shoulders. "Told you I am genetically engineered." "You are unbearable." "Correct." A sophomore nearby asks if we are together. This time, neither of us answers immediately. Lena just smirks slightly. Interesting. That single word ruins my ability to think for the next 6 hours. April brings college anxiety. Everyone's suddenly obsessed with futures. Counselor meetings, career aptitude tests, panic everywhere. I find Lena sitting alone behind the gym one afternoon, staring at acceptance brochures. "You okay?" She shrugs too fast. Never really planned this far ahead. I sit beside her quietly. You do not have to figure everything out immediately. She snorts. That sounds fake, but thanks. Wind cold. Trees barely blooming. After a while, she leans sideways until her shoulder presses against mine. Neither of us moves away. Later that week, we skip part of lunch to hide in the library basement. Rain tapping against tiny windows. Lena flips through her sketchbook absent-mindedly. Most pages are random doodles. Boxing gloves, dinosaurs, pancakes with swords. Then I notice newer drawings. Me reading at lunch. Me half asleep on the bus. Me laughing during the clay turtle disaster. Dozens of tiny moments I never realized she noticed. She realizes I am looking, immediately tries grabbing the sketchbook back. "Give me that." Too late. Her face bright red now. "You drew me like 50 times. Shut up forever." I laugh quietly. She groans dramatically, pulls her hood over her face. For someone terrifying, you embarrass pretty easily. "I will throw this sketchbook into traffic." You would cry immediately after. Fair point. The bell rings eventually, but neither of us rushes to move. That Friday after school, storms roll through hard, Thunder loud enough to shake windows. Power cuts again during library study hour. Students complain nonstop, teachers scrambling around with flashlights. Lena nudges my arm. Come on. We sneak upstairs to the old science hallway almost nobody uses anymore. Sit on the floor beside huge, rain-streaked windows. Lightning flashes silver across the room. For a while, we just listen to the storm. Then she asks quietly, "You ever realize we basically live in a coming-of-age movie?" I stare at her. Only if it is a low-budget one. She laughs hard enough to lean sideways into me. Honestly, though, something shifted lately. Hard to explain. We sit closer now naturally, text constantly, share food without asking. People stopped questioning whether we were together months ago, mostly because we already acted like it. But neither of us says anything directly. Maybe scared saying it out loud would break whatever this was. Near the end of April, state testing week begins. Entire school miserable. Lena finishes early every day and spends the extra time drawing comics in the margins of her test booklet. One afternoon, assistant principal catches her. "You know those are official documents, right?" Without missing a beat, she replies, "Now they are official art." I nearly choke trying not to laugh. Somehow, she only gets a warning. Friday evening, she texts unexpectedly, "Roof?" 10 minutes later, we are sitting on top of the gym again, legs dangling over the edge, sunset bleeding orange across town. Lena tosses me a soda can. For a while, silence. Comfortable as breathing now. Then she says, almost casual, "People used to think I was angry all the time at my old school." "Weren't you?" "Sometimes, but mostly tired. Big difference." I nod slowly. She glances sideways at me. "You were the first person who talked to me like I was normal." My chest tightens painfully. "You saved me from getting folded into a locker." Still counts. Wind pushes her hair around her face. I realize suddenly how terrifyingly badly I want to kiss her. Instead, I panic and drink soda too fast. Immediate coughing disaster. Lena stares at me in horror. "Did you almost die from Sprite?" "Maybe." Pathetic. She laughs so hard she nearly falls backward off the roof. May arrives, trees fully green again, seniors emotionally collapsing everywhere. Lena starts stealing my hoodies because apparently hers are too emotionally damaged. I pretend to complain, secretly thrilled every single time. During chemistry lab, our teacher pairs us together again. Big mistake. Lena accidentally launches a rubber stopper into the ceiling fan. Entire class ducks for cover. Teacher removes us from lab privileges immediately. "Worth it," she whispers while we sit in the hallway afterward. Absolutely. One Saturday, downtown street fair takes over the city blocks. Music everywhere. Food trucks. Crowds packed shoulder to shoulder. Usually, that kind of environment drains me instantly. But Lena stays beside me the entire time. Quiet check-ins. Small nudges against my arm whenever crowds get too dense. At one booth, a caricature artist offers to draw us. Lena immediately points at me. "Make him look less haunted." 20 minutes later, we leave with the stupidest drawing imaginable. My eyes enormous behind giant glasses. Lena drawn like a comic book bodyguard. She frames it beside her desk at home. Near finals, stress returns full force. Library becomes our second residence again. One evening, around closing time, I find Lena asleep on top of her notes, pencil still in hand. Soft breathing, hood half fallen back. I stare probably way too long. Then she wakes up suddenly. "Were you watching me sleep like a Victorian ghost child?" "Maybe." Weirdo. She smiles while saying it. That same week, yearbook forms circulate. Students running around collecting signatures. Mine mostly blank, except for a few classmates. Lena grabs it during lunch. returns it 20 minutes later, suspiciously fast. I open it after school. Entire back page filled. Tiny drawings, dumb jokes, quotes I said months ago and forgot entirely. At the bottom, written smaller than the rest. Thanks for staying. I reread that sentence until the paper nearly tears. Final month of junior year arrives somehow. Everything changing too fast already. One afternoon after boxing practice behind the gym, Lena wraps my hands carefully because apparently I still punch like an anxious flamingo. Her fingers pause suddenly against mine. Expression unreadable. Then quietly, "Can I ask you something without you combusting?" No promises. She rolls her eyes. Do you ever think maybe we missed the moment where this stopped being platonic? System error. Complete brain shutdown. I stare at her like buffering internet. Lena immediately groans. Never mind, abort mission. No, wait. Words trip over themselves, leaving my mouth. I just thought maybe you did not want that. She blinks. Are you kidding? I have been stealing your hoodies for months. That is basically a declaration of war. I laugh nervously, heart trying to escape my ribcage. So, what now? Lena looks oddly uncertain for once, then shrugs softly. Maybe this. She leans forward carefully, giving me every possible chance to pull away. I do not. Her kiss is warm and slightly shaky, and somehow calmer than panic should allow. When she pulls back, both of us stare at each other silently for a second. Then simultaneously, wow. We start laughing immediately. Nervous, relieved, impossible to stop. Lena bumps her forehead lightly against mine. Took us long enough. Yeah. On the walk home, she keeps bumping her shoulder against mine every few steps, like she physically cannot stop smiling. At my driveway, she pauses awkwardly. So, are we dating now? I grin helplessly. Pretty sure we have been dating accidentally for like a year. Fair enough. Before leaving, she kisses my cheek quickly, then immediately pulls her hood up to hide blushing. I stand there stunned long after she disappears down the sidewalk. Monday morning spreads fast somehow. Apparently someone saw us walking together, holding hands near the coffee shop downtown. Rumors explode across school before first period. Oddly, neither of us cares anymore. At lunch, freshman from earlier in the year points at us dramatically. Called it. Lena points back. Mind your business, tiny child. The freshman looks delighted instead of offended. Everything feels strangely lighter after that. Not magically perfect, just honest now. We stop pretending small things are not important. Holding hands between classes, sharing earbuds openly now. Her stealing fries directly off my tray without asking. One afternoon, I catch myself smiling during math, for literally no reason. Terrifying development. Summer approaches again. Air warmer. Windows open during class. Teachers give up pretending anyone still cares academically. Lena starts walking me home almost every day. Sometimes we detour through the park. Sometimes we sit at the baseball field long after sunset, talking about absolutely nothing. Turns out nothing conversations are my favorite kind. One evening, we end up lying on the grass near the soccer field, staring at clouds. Lena points upward. That one looks like a turtle. That is literally just a rectangle. Open your mind. I turn my head toward her instead. Sunlight catches the edge of her smile, wind moving loose strands of hair across her face. She notices me staring. What? Nothing. Liar. Probably. She reaches over and flicks my forehead. Ow! Drama queen. Final exams hit again before we are emotionally prepared. Stress levels catastrophic. During study sessions, Weena aggressively quizzes me with flashcards, like a military instructor. Define photosynthesis. Plants doing chemistry crimes. Acceptable. At 2 in the morning before our history final, she falls asleep on a pile of notes at my desk. I carefully drape a blanket over her shoulders. 5 seconds later, without opening her eyes, "You are staring again. Go to sleep." Creep. Junior year finally ends in a blur of exhausted relief. Last bell rings. Hallways erupt. Students screaming like prison inmates released into society. Lena finds me near the entrance doors. We survived. Barely. Good enough. She grabs my wrist and drags me outside into the sunlight. Parking lot crowded with celebrating students. Water guns everywhere, music blasting from someone's car speakers. Normally, chaos like this would overwhelm me instantly. But Lena squeezes my hand once. Grounding. Everything manageable after that. We spend most of summer together, accidentally, on purpose. Movie marathons, late-night walks, grocery store trips for snacks that somehow become hour-long adventures. One afternoon, she teaches me how to properly throw a punch again. Your left hook still looks emotionally conflicted. Maybe it is. She laughs, then steps behind me, adjusting my stance carefully. Warm hands against my shoulders, chin briefly resting near my head. Brain completely useless afterward. July heat brutal. Neither of us functioning properly. We hide in bookstores for air conditioning, sit on the floor reading random comics for hours. At one point, Lena finds an old dinosaur encyclopedia and gasps dramatically. My people, you are such a nerd secretly. Not secretly anymore. Fair. One rainy evening, we end up stranded under the awning outside a closed pizza shop. Thunder overhead, streets shining with reflected lights. Lena suddenly says, "You know, a year ago, I thought everyone here hated me." I glance sideways at her. Most people were just scared of you. Reasonable, honestly. She pauses, then quieter. You weren't. I shrug awkwardly. You picked up my books. Apparently that mattered more than either of us expected. Rain keeps falling. Cars hissing past through puddles. Lena leans against my shoulder slowly. Thanks for seeing me before I figured out how to see myself properly. That sentence nearly destroys me emotionally. Instead of responding normally, I panic and say, "You are still terrifying, though." Correct. She kisses my jaw lightly. Balance restored. August arrives too quickly. Senior year looming suddenly huge and terrifying. School orientation chaos everywhere. Freshmen wandering hallways like confused NPCs. Lena watches one kid walk into the same door twice. Nature is beautiful. First week back feels different immediately. Not because people stare anymore, because they do not. We are just known now. The weird quiet honors kid and the intimidating hoodie girl became permanent background characters in everyone's lives somehow. Teachers pair us together automatically whenever possible. One literally says, "You two function like an old married couple already." Lena almost chokes on her water. I turn red enough to generate solar power. At lunch, the freshman from last year sits beside us regularly now. Her name is Ava, apparently. Tiny, loud, adopts us against our will. She watches Lena steal one of my chicken nuggets. You guys are disgustingly domestic. Lena points a fry at her. Leave us alone. Never. Senior workload ramps up fast. College applications, recommendation letters, constant pressure. One night I find Lena sitting on the hood of her car outside my house, looking overwhelmed for the first time in months. I sit beside her quietly. What happened? She exhales slowly. Got into one of the colleges I applied to. I blink. That is amazing. Yeah. But she does not sound happy. Then realization hits. It is far away. Several states, actually. Silence settles heavily between us. Finally, I ask, "Do you want to go?" Lena stares up at the sky for a long time before answering. I think part of me does. And the other part? She glances at me finally, scared of losing things I never thought I would get to have. My chest aches. I take her hand carefully. Hey, you are allowed to want things beyond survival now. Her expression breaks slightly at that. For a second, she looks 17 again instead of invincible. She squeezes my hand hard enough to hurt a little. Later that month, homecoming arrives. We almost skip it. Ava threatens emotional violence if we do. So we go. Gym transformed with cheap decorations and terrible lighting. Music unbearably loud as usual. But this time, when slow songs start, Lena looks at me cautiously. Still cringe? Extremely. Want to do it anyway? I hesitate dramatically, then sigh. Fine, but if we both combust, that is on you. She grins. Worth it. We sway awkwardly near the edge of the dance floor, both terrible at it. Lena rests her forehead lightly against mine. Around us, everything loud and messy and overwhelming. But her voice stays soft. You know you changed my life, right? Emotion catches in my throat instantly. You changed mine first. She smiles, sadly almost. Good. For the first time in years, crowded room does not feel unbearable. Just distant. Like background noise to something much more important. October turns everything gold and cold again. Senior year moving too fast now. College talk everywhere. Teachers emotional already. Students pretending not to panic. Lena starts carrying around acceptance letters folded carelessly in her backpack, like they are grocery receipts. I treat mine like sacred artifacts. One afternoon in the library, I finally ask the question sitting between us for weeks. Which school are you leaning toward? She spins a pencil silently between her fingers. Still thinking. You would be amazing anywhere. That earns me a long look. You know that makes this harder, right? I do not answer because honestly, I do. That Friday, football game chaos consumes the school. Neither of us cares about sports, but Ava blackmails us emotionally again. So suddenly we are sitting on cold metal bleachers under stadium lights. Crowds screaming, band painfully loud. I start shutting down halfway through second quarter. Before I even say anything, Lena quietly takes my hand and places it inside her hoodie pocket where it is warmer and hidden from the noise. Better? Yeah. Always somehow, yeah. During halftime, the mascot trips over a cheerleader sign and wipes out spectacularly. Entire stadium gasps. Lena laughs so violently, she snorts. I stare at her in shock. Did you just snort? No. You absolutely did. Fake news. I spend the next week bringing it up constantly. Her revenge arrives swiftly. Halloween Spirit Week. Ava convinces us to do matching costumes. Huge mistake. Friday morning, Lena appears at my house dressed like a dinosaur. Not a scary dinosaur either. One of those inflatable ones with tiny arms. I open the door and immediately lose the ability to breathe from laughing. She points accusingly at me through the plastic dinosaur head. You are supposed to be emotionally supportive. You look ridiculous. Correct. My costume significantly less dramatic. Simple paleontologist outfit, because apparently our entire relationship became dinosaur-themed against my will. At school, students stop us every 10 feet for pictures. Even teachers laugh. During lunch, Lena tries sitting normally in the inflatable suit and immediately rolls sideways off the bench. Cafeteria erupts. She lies there, staring at the ceiling. Leave me here. Never. I help drag the giant dinosaur back upright. Best day of senior year, honestly. November arrives colder. Faster sunsets, longer nights. Applications finally submitted. Future suddenly, terrifyingly real. One evening, Lena comes over, unusually quiet. We sit on my bedroom floor, surrounded by textbooks neither of us reads. Eventually, she says softly, "I am scared." 3 words, barely audible. I look at her carefully. Of leaving? Of staying? Of leaving? Of screwing everything up somehow. I move closer slowly until our shoulders touch. You are allowed to be scared. She laughs weakly. That does not feel very motivational. Sorry, I can lie dramatically if needed. She nudges me lightly. Idiot. But she smiles afterward. Thanksgiving break arrives. Ava somehow convinces us all to meet at the diner downtown. Half the student body apparently there already. Booths crowded, smell of fries everywhere. At one point, Ava disappears to the bathroom and leaves Lena and me alone with milkshakes. Lena stares at me over the rim of her straw, suddenly thoughtful. What? Nothing. Just thinking how weird this is. The diner? Us. I tilt my head. Explain? She gestures vaguely between us. 1.5 years ago, you barely talked above a whisper, and I threatened people recreationally. You still threaten people recreationally. Fair. But now? Now you steal my fries recreationally. Growth. She laughs quietly, then reaches across the table, hooking her fingers loosely around mine. Warm. Familiar. Outside, snow starts falling lightly for the first time that year. December comes brutal and beautiful all at once. Final Christmas break before graduation. Everyone emotional already. During study hall, teachers keep giving speeches about the next chapter. Most students groan. I secretly understand the panic. One afternoon after school, Lena drags me downtown, insisting she needs to buy gifts. She spends 40 minutes choosing pancake mix for Ava as a joke present, then buys me something small, wrapped messily in dark paper. Open it later. At home that night, I unwrap it carefully. Inside sits a keychain shaped like a tiny turtle wearing boxing gloves. There is also a folded note. For protection purposes. I smile so hard my face hurts. Next morning, I attach it beside the old boxing glove keychain she gave me the previous summer. When Lena sees it hanging from my backpack, something soft crosses her expression. Nice. Felt correct. Near winter break, snowstorm cancels school unexpectedly. Lena shows up at my house anyway. We spend the entire day building the world's worst snowman in my backyard. Its head keeps falling off. Symbolic, Lena declares. Of what? Mental stability. Fair enough. Eventually, we abandon the snowman and collapse onto the porch steps, exhausted. Snow falling around us quietly. Lena rests her head against my shoulder. You know, I used to think surviving was the same thing as living. I stay quiet. She continues softly. Turns out, they are different. Cold air stings my lungs. I glance sideways at her. You happy? The question hangs there for a moment. Then she smiles, small but real. Yeah, I think I actually am. That answer feels bigger than either of us says out loud. Christmas passes warmly, quietly. Her foster aunt invites me over for dinner, immediately embarrasses Lena with childhood stories. Apparently, 8-year-old Lena tried to fight a goose once. The goose started it, she argues. I laugh so hard, I nearly choke on mashed potatoes. New Year's Eve arrives cold and clear. Downtown fireworks visible from the hill behind school. So naturally, that is where we go. Wrapped in blankets, thermos of terrible gas station hot chocolate between us. Fireworks explode overhead in waves of color. Around midnight, Lena grows strangely serious. Hey. No matter what happens next year, thanks. Emotion catches instantly in my throat again. For what? For making this place feel less temporary. Fireworks reflect in her eyes when she kisses me. Slow. Certain. Below us, the town keeps celebrating loudly. But up on the hill, everything feels still somehow, like standing in the exact moment before a new life begins. January hits hard again. Final semester. Just the phrase alone feels unreal. Hallways covered with graduation posters already. Counselors chasing students about deadlines. Everyone pretending they know what they are doing. None of us do. Lena starts wearing my old gray hoodie constantly because hers finally disintegrates beyond repair. I complain once. She stares directly into my soul. Our hoodie. Fair enough. Snow piles against classroom windows. Senioritis spreads like a biological weapon. Teachers surrender gradually. One morning during first period, the heating system breaks entirely. Students freezing. Complaints non-stop. Lena silently pulls my hands into her sleeves during class, because apparently, human gloves now. Teacher notices immediately. Says nothing, just sighs deeply like a tired war veteran. Ava nearly falls out of her chair laughing. College decision letters arrive steadily through January. Some students celebrate loudly, others quietly devastated. One afternoon, I find Lena sitting alone behind the auditorium steps again. The expression on her face makes my stomach drop instantly. What happened? She hands me a letter silently. The faraway college. Scholarship offer, huge one. My chest tightens painfully. Lena watches my face carefully, like she expects disappointment. Instead, I look back at the paper. This is incredible. She exhales shakily. You sure? Lena. I grab her hand immediately. You fought too hard to shrink your life now. For a second, her eyes shine suspiciously bright. Then she mutters, damn it, you are being emotionally mature again. Occupational hazard. She leans forward until her forehead presses against my shoulder. I hold her there quietly. No dramatic speeches needed. February arrives with icy rain and overwhelming nostalgia already forming around everything. Every hallway suddenly feels temporary. During lunch one day, Ava asks where we see ourselves in 10 years. I shrug. Alive, hopefully. Lena points at me. He aims high. What about you? Lena thinks seriously for a moment. Small apartment, big bookshelf, pancakes on weekends. No chaos, if possible. Ava groans dramatically. You guys are disgustingly in love. Both of us immediately choke on our drinks. Some things never change. Valentine's season returns. This time, Lena hands me another black carnation, directly instead of anonymously. Progress. I give her a sketchbook filled halfway with drawings copied badly from her old doodles. Inside cover reads, "For future emotionally damaged dinosaurs." She goes quiet reading it, then kisses me hard enough to completely erase coherent thought. Worth the embarrassment. Mid-February, senior snow day hits unexpectedly. Roads iced over, school canceled. Lena shows up outside my window, throwing snowballs at the glass, like a criminal. 5 minutes later, we are wandering nearly empty streets bundled in layers. Town weirdly silent under fresh snow. At the park, Lena suddenly grabs my arm. Race you. Before I can respond, she sprints away, laughing. Completely unfair advantage. I chase her anyway. Eventually, both of us collapse breathless near the frozen baseball field. Lena, staring up at the gray sky, smiling wildly. You know what I realized? What? For the first time ever, I am excited for the future instead of terrified of it. Cold wind cuts across the field. I smile despite myself. That is huge. Yeah. She rolls sideways toward me in the snow. Think you had something to do with it. My heart still cannot handle hearing things like that properly. March arrives. Graduation meetings, cap and gown measurements, constant reminders that time refuses to slow down. One afternoon after school, we end up back on the gym roof again. Our spot. Sunset gold across the empty football field. Lena swings her legs absently over the edge. Feels weird. What does? Being happy for long enough that it stopped feeling temporary. I sit beside her quietly. You deserve that feeling, you know? She looks sideways at me. Still getting used to hearing that. Wind rustles her hair softly. After a while, she pulls something from her pocket. Folded paper. I open it carefully. It is the first photo ever taken of us asleep on the bus during the museum trip. Corners bent now from age. Beauty and the Beast, modern edition. I laugh immediately. You kept this whole time? Obviously. On the back, she has written something new. Thanks for sitting beside me that first lunch. Emotion hits so suddenly I cannot speak for a second. Lena notices instantly. Oh no, you are doing feelings. Shut up. Too late. She grins while I unsuccessfully try not to look wrecked emotionally. April flies by terrifyingly fast. Last school dance ever. This time, neither of us hesitates about going. Ava forces us into actual coordinated outfits. Apparently, we need aesthetic closure. The gym, decorated with cheap silver streamers and impossible amounts of glitter. Music awful as always. Perfect. During one slow song, Lena wraps both arms around my neck carefully. No cringe comments this time? Too tired emotionally. Fair. We sway quietly near the edge of the dance floor again. Almost exactly like homecoming, months earlier. But different now. Less uncertain. Lena studies my face softly. What? Just memorizing stuff. That sentence nearly destroys me instantly. After the dance, we sit outside on the curb eating terrible cookies again. Cold spring air. Stars faint overhead. Ava eventually leaves after yelling something about us being hopeless. Silence settles comfortably afterward. Then Lena says quietly, "You know, even if I leave for that college, this does not end, right?" I look at her carefully. No? No. She reaches for my hand. You are stuck with me now. Good. We sit there smiling stupidly at nothing for a long time. Last weeks of senior year begin. Yearbooks passed around, teachers emotional wrecks, students writing goodbye messages everywhere. During final library period ever, Lena doodles one last dinosaur in my notebook. This one wearing glasses and boxing gloves. Underneath, she writes, "Stand up for yourself. Mean it this time." I stare at the sentence quietly. Full circle. When I look up, she is already watching me. Proud expression hidden behind fake annoyance. You better not get all emotional again. No promises. May arrives almost cruelly fast. Final exams. Final assemblies. Final everything. School hallways feel haunted now. Everyone trying to act normal while quietly grieving the fact that childhood is ending in real time. Lena handles it by becoming even more sarcastic than usual. Healthy coping mechanism. Absolutely not. One afternoon during review period, our calculus teacher pauses mid-lesson and looks directly at us. Honestly, watching you two go from emotionally constipated strangers to whatever this is has been the highlight of my career. Entire class loses it. I nearly slide out of my chair from embarrassment. Lena salutes solemnly. Thank you for your service. Even the teacher laughs. Graduation rehearsal feels surreal. Rows of folding chairs, endless instructions, mispronounced names. Lena keeps tapping her foot nervously beside me. You okay? She shrugs too quickly. Big crowds. I glance around the packed gym. Right. Without thinking much, I hook my pinky loosely around hers between the chairs. Tiny gesture. Immediate effect. Her shoulders relax slightly. When rehearsal ends, she bumps her shoulder against mine. Sneaky emotional support. Do not expose me. The night before graduation, neither of us can sleep. Around midnight, my phone buzzes. Roof. Some traditions never die. 10 minutes later, we are sitting above the school one last time. Town quiet below us. Warm spring air carrying distant traffic sounds. Lena lies back against the roof, staring at the stars. Feels fake. What does? That we actually made it here. I think about lockers, library afternoons, snowstorms, black carnations, boxing lessons, all of it. Yeah. For a while, neither of us talks. Then Lena says quietly, I used to think high school would just be 4 years I survived. I glance sideways at her. And now? Now it feels like the place I met my favorite person. Direct hit, critical damage. I cover my face dramatically. Please warn me before emotional violence. Never. She laughs softly, then reaches over, pulling my hand away from my face. Moonlight catches her expression strangely gentle. Thank you. For what this time? Everything. The word hangs there between us. Heavy. Honest. I lean forward first this time. Her kiss tastes faintly like mint gum and summer air. When we pull apart, Lena rests her forehead against mine. You know, you are way less invisible now. I smile helplessly. So are you. Graduation morning dawns bright and unbearably warm. Parents' emotional disasters already. My mom cries 3 separate times before breakfast. Lena arrives at the ceremony wearing her gown half open and looking deeply offended by formal clothing. This robe feels cursed. You look nice. Do not start. But she smiles anyway. Students crowd the football field, cameras everywhere, teachers pretending not to cry. Ava runs up and hugs both of us simultaneously, almost hard enough to crack ribs. You idiots actually did it. Apparently. Ceremony begins. Names called one by one. When Lena walks across stage, applause erupts louder than expected. Not because people fear her anymore, because people genuinely love her now. I realize she notices the difference too. Brief, stunned expression before recovering. When my own name gets called, I hear Lena whistle aggressively from somewhere behind me. Mortifying. Perfect. Afterward, chaos explodes everywhere. Families, flowers, pictures, noise. Normally overwhelming. But not today. Today, everything feels sharp and bright and real. Lena finds me eventually near the bleachers. For a second, we just stare at each other in caps and gowns like neither of us fully understands how we got here. Then simultaneously, we actually graduated. Wild. She laughs quietly. Proud of you, nerd. Proud of you too, beast. That old nickname sounds different now. Softer. Reclaimed. Our parents force approximately 9 million photos. At one point, my mom asks us to stand closer together. Lena deadpans. Ma'am, we share hoodies. How much closer can we realistically get? My mom nearly cries again, laughing. Later that evening, after parties and celebrations finally die down, Lena and I end up back at the school one final time. Front lawn empty now. Windows dark. We sit on the curb near the entrance doors where everything first started. Warm night breeze. Crickets loud nearby. I glance toward the hallway windows. You know, I still remember the first thing you ever said to me. Pick it up now. Iconic, honestly. You terrified those guys. Good. Silence settles comfortably. Then Lena nudges my knee lightly. Hey. Hey. You scared about next year? I think carefully before answering. Yeah, but not the same way I used to be. She nods slowly, like she understands exactly what I mean. Because now the future includes actual things you want. Exactly. For a while, we just sit there, listening to distant traffic. Then, Lena reaches into her backpack and pulls something out. A hoodie, dark gray, new. Front pocket covered with tiny embroidered dinosaurs wearing boxing gloves. I stare at it in complete shock. No way. Way. Inside sleeve stitched carefully in small letters. Take up space. Emotion hits instantly. Brutal. Lena immediately points at me accusingly. No crying at the school curb. I am not crying. Your face disagrees. I laugh helplessly, pulling the hoodie against my chest. It is perfect. Good. She relaxes visibly after hearing that. Then quieter. Wanted you to have something for next year. I look at her for a long moment. You know I am keeping this forever, right? That is the idea. The moon hangs high above the empty school. Somewhere inside those walls are every version of us that existed before now. Quiet, lonely kid with headphones. Angry girl hiding inside oversized hoodies. Neither of them gone exactly, just no longer alone. Lena leans against my shoulder gently. So, college boyfriend. Yeah? Future sounds kind of terrifying still. I intertwine my fingers with hers. Maybe. Then I glance sideways at her. But manageable. She smiles at that. Small. Real. Certain. And together we sit there, outside the empty school, until the summer air turns cold and the stars blur softly above us. No longer invisible, no longer monsters. Just two people who accidentally saved each other.